So, shall we start now?
Sure, sir.
Okay. So today we will be dealing with block 5. Block 5 is all about political sociology. How some concepts like state, democracy, citizenship are used sociologically. How we try to understand the political concepts from sociological point of view. So MSO 5, no, MSO 001, that is sociological theories and concepts. In block 5, we will be dealing with state and society. Here, we will be talking about some political concepts like sovereignty. Then we will move to the theories around state and power. Then we will move to citizenship. And at last, the civil society and democracy, some new concepts. So, in sovereignty, we will try to understand what is democracy, what is political system, and what do we mean by sovereignty. Then what are the types of sovereignty? In theories, we will be dealing with theories of state first, the classical thinkers, that is Marx, Weber, and Durkheim. Then we will also deal with the theories on power. Again, here we will deal with the classical thinkers like Marx, Weber, and Parsons. In citizenship, meaning, definition, and its type. Then nation state, citizenship, rights and duties of a citizen, all those things we will be dealing with. In civil society, we will try to understand the concept which is very new and then try to understand how it is applicable in a democratic country like India. So let's begin with our first unit, that is sovereignty. What is sovereignty? You must have heard that India is a sovereign country. What does that mean? To understand the concept, we have to focus on the thinkers, how they used to understand or make us understand about the notion of sovereignty. So historians, lawyers, that means international lawyers or reputed lawyers, political theorists, they try to understand or they try to define sovereignty as parallel to independence. So for them, sovereignty is independence. What is that? It is a notion of authority and right. Authority is the right of title to rule. That means some authority is there, or some organization or an individual is there who has the authority and the right to rule over us, and we need to follow them. Then comes the political economists and political sociologists. How do they read, or how do they understand, or how do they define the concept sovereignty? For them, it is autonomy, a notion of power and capability. No one is there to interfere. They have the authority, they have the autonomy. So, it distinguishes the state from other political associations within a society and similar entities in the international societies. What does that mean? When we are arguing that sovereignty is unique, it is independent, it is autonomous, then definitely it is attached to something has the power to rule, and by whom? By the people. It is conferred to that unit. So it is a political association. It is a particular form of political association, not all political associations. What are those? When we are saying a particular political association, that refers to a state or a country. But in political sociology, we make a parallel conclusion about state and nation. That I will talk about later, but just keep in mind that a state is different from any other political organization. What are those political organizations? That may be BJP, that may be Congress, that may be Trinamool Congress, that may be BJD, or some other parties. Those are called as political associations. But state is above and above them. So state has the power named sovereignty. So how we will conceptualize the concept? Definitely I am saying, when we are trying to understand the society, we definitely make a parallels with certain philosophies, and we try to understand the society scientifically. So for that purpose, to understand any concept, we have to go through the conceptualization of the concept given by various thinkers or theorists. So starting with Jean Bodin, he argued there is the need of an establishment of competent authority. He is arguing or emphasizing the concept competent authority. That means no other authority is there. It is the apex authority which is capable to do anything. So then what he is saying? Competent authority to solve the chaos in society. That means as society consists of various parts, there are certain type of problems. Because of problems, there are chaos. So who can solve those? If I will say that I am born free and I have the authority, and who are you? Why should I obey you? Then there will be a chaos in the society. No one will obey or follow anyone. Everyone will think that they are in the power. There will be some sorts of chaos, problem that will create the society, not as a society, but something like a general crowd. So what happens? Jean Bodin is saying that no, there should be an authority who can handle the chaos properly. And which authority is that? That is the state. And the power of the state is decisive. That means you have to follow. That is fixed. It is taken thorough discussion. After thorough discussion, and it is recognized by the citizens. That means who are residing in that state, not other outside state. So if we are saying that state government, Odisha government has imposed lockdown from tomorrow onward till 19th. That means being a citizen of Odisha or being a part of Odisha, we have to follow. Because we think the government is taking any decision that it will be benefited for us. Hence it is decisive. And that is not only for me, but for all. It is equally implemented for all. It is equally valuable for all. Hence, it is recognized by the citizens. So, sovereignty is the power of a state that is decisive and recognized by the citizen. Who has told this? Jean Bodin. Then comes Thomas Hobbes. What is he saying? He is saying that a sovereign must be self-perpetuating, undivided, and ultimate absolute. That means he is also saying sovereignty means the apex one. which is in the top. A single person may be a sovereign or a group may be a sovereign. But he is dealing or he is equating sovereignty with an individual. For him, sovereign has a right to command the subject. Sovereign has the right to command the subject. That means if for example, take your family. Who is the ultimate decisive person in your family? It's your father, because we are living in a patriarchal society. So everything is determined on the basis of male. So when the decision-making agent of our family is father, everyone has to follow him, including my mother or his counterpart. So he is arguing, he has the commanding authority over us. Subjects means over us or the family members. So he is arguing that sovereignty is attached to an individual who has the authority to command over other individual. It is the duty of the subject to obey the sovereign. That means we have to follow the authority. The duty of obedience is generated through consent. It is mutually. We are not forced to obey. Rather, being a member of that entity, we are giving him the authority, so we are following him. For example, we obey our parents. Why? Because they are the ultimate authority in our family. So everything lies with our parents. This happens with the state also. Because we choose the authority, state players, so we also forced to obey them. So the unlimited power to the sovereign are provided to ensure that peace is achieved. That means we give him the power to maintain peace in the society. So that the peace in the society can be achieved and the society can function normally. This is about Thomas Hobbes' notion of sovereignty. Then comes Jean-Jacques Rousseau. What is he saying? He is saying that a sovereign is the voice of the law and the absolute authority within a given state. That means he is saying that state is there and that state has an authority. It is the absolute authority. Nobody is above that. So, what he is saying? In his time, it was the monarchy or the king or the ruler who has the ultimate authority. So, sovereignty is attached to the monarchy. For example, if we will talk about Jagannath culture, then ultimate decision is taken by the Gajapati. We are conferring or we are offering or we have bestowed that quality on him to take decision. We are forced to obey him because he has the traditional authority. He is attached to our feeling, our ritual system. So the sovereignty cannot be represented, divided or broken up. That means he is not forced to give himself. He cannot be divided. Someone cannot say that there is a Jagannath temple in Balesar, there is a Jagannath temple in Koraput, there is another Jagannath temple somewhere else. So why they should follow the Gajapati? According to Jean-Jacques Rousseau, no one can question his authority. He is the ultimate, whatever may be the parts. So he is arguing that it was the monarchy which is sovereign and he has the authority and we are following him. There comes John Locke. He is saying, we are living in a society that is political in nature. So he is saying sovereignty is found in the political body as a whole. Who is guiding us? It is the state. And what is the state? It is a political body. We vote for them, we elect them, and we make them minister. They are in return helping us, guiding us, or taking measures for our welfare. So state is the political body. And who are the authorities in the state? The ruler, that means the government. And who are the ruling over on us? We are the ruled. So he is saying that community is the source of sovereignty and state is the proper instrument for its exercise. He is saying the state is nothing outside the society. It is just like a community. We have consciousness. We have attached we feeling to that. We treat that is my state, that is my country, all those things. So power remains with the people, but the law making and enforcement right are transferred to the government only. What does this mean? He is saying that power remains with the people. That means we are electing and making government in the process of our democratic right. We are electing them, and the majority of the party that was elected would be placed for government. And irrespective of our party feelings, we have to follow that. That is our government. So power remains with the people. Because of us, they have been elected. So why they have been elected? Because they have the authority, or we are giving them the authority to enforce various rights and law making power so that they can easily guide us and we will follow them so that the state can work properly. Then comes what are the characteristics of the concept called sovereign? There are various characteristics. Let's analyze them. First one is absoluteness. That means law and decrees passed by the sovereignty is binding on all citizens. That means what the state is enforcing as law or policy is applicable not for me only, but for all the citizens, those who are coming under the jurisdiction. So it is absoluteness. That means it is equally applicable to all. Then comes exclusive. It means no other association in a position to compete with it. That means state is the ultimate authority. Not a single club or organization can force the state. It is the ultimate decision maker. It is the ultimate rule or policy maker. So it is exclusive. It is sovereign. So sovereignty means exclusiveness. Then comes permanence. As long as the state exists, it is the supreme form of authority. So sovereignty here refers to permanence. It is permanent. State is there. That means the power attached to the state, that is sovereign, will be there. No one can change that one. If someone will change, then definitely that will be perished. That will be no more a state. What is the universality then? It exercises authority over all other individuals and groups of individuals within its jurisdiction. It is exercising authority. That means it is not only exercising its authority over the citizen, but also over all other parts of the state, including judiciary, including bureaucracy, including other political parties. So it is universally applicable to all. Then come inalienability. Inalienability means as it is the essential personality of the state, hence cannot be alienated from state. We cannot detach. Alienation means we cannot detach. Yesterday we talked about alienation. Alienation here refers to the detachment of sovereign character or detachment of the sovereign quality of the state from the state. That means if we will detach that, if we will detach sovereignty from state, then definitely it can't be called as a state. So we cannot detach sovereignty from state. That's why it is inalienated or inalienability. Then comes indivisible. That means we cannot divide. If sovereignty is divided, then there will be the existence of more than one state. That means we cannot divide the state's quality, as it is the supreme authority. So no one can divide. When we can divide? If another state come into existence, then that state has another type of sovereignty. Present state has another type of sovereignty. But the present government or another government, being a subject, cannot be dividable, okay, or cannot be divisive. So it is the supreme authority of the state which is indivisible. No one can divide the power of the state. So what are the types of sovereignty? First, it's legal sovereignty. What is legal sovereignty? The belief that ultimate and final authority resides in the law of the state. That means the state is the ultimate authority. Which rules and regulations the state will produce definitely will be applicable to all and acceptable by all. And everyone is forced to obey them. So this is called as legal sovereignty. It is legally power. Then supreme power is defined in terms of legal authority. That means it is the ultimate power which is the legal authority. That is state or sovereignty. It is based upon the right to require somebody to comply as defined by law. That means it can force if someone is not obeying the rules and regulations of the state. It has the legal authority to control its citizens. Everyone is bound to follow. If someone will deviate, then definitely the state will exercise power. So it is known as legal sovereignty. Then what is political sovereignty? It is concerned with the actual distribution of power. That means how power is distributed. We have a sovereign society. India is sovereign, but the power system is bifurcated. Center and state. Center is the ultimate authority and state used to follow the advice of the center. But they have some independent authority also. So it is concerned with the actual division of power. Here there is the existence of a supreme political power that is called as the central government. But I will discuss about a peculiar thing about this, who is the supreme authority or supreme political power in India, when I will talk about the latter things. So it applies coercive force to command obedience. That means someone has to be obedient to the state. That means no one can deviate. It controls us. It guides us. So political sovereignty is attached with the distribution of power. Power, first it is the president, then followed by others. Prime Minister, Home Minister, others are there. In the same situation, first it is central government, then state government, then your district, then your panchayat, tahsil, then panchayat, all those things. This is the system of distribution of power. So, political sovereignty guarantees this distribution. Then another type of sovereignty that occurs, it is called as internal sovereignty. What is internal sovereignty? It is seen from inside a state, that is the supreme authority. That means we receive the state as the supreme authority. As we are the citizen, we have to follow. That means we are the internal part of state. Then comes external sovereignty. What is sovereignty seen from outside? It's called external sovereignty. That is self-governing authority. For example, if you will compare India with China, India with Thailand, India with Nepal, India with UK, USA, then definitely when we try to portray internationally, we are talking about external quality. That is called as external sovereignty. So, states place in the international order where the state's sovereign is independent and huge in relation to other states. We compare, we say India is a democratic country. So when we compare with other international bodies, say USA, then we will question Indian democracy is different from US's or America's democratic system. So we make an analogy that our democracy is something unique in the world. So this is the democratic feeling or democratic quality which we call it sovereignty. And it is externally, when it is externally viewed, we call them external sovereignty. So let's discuss how sovereignty is attached to a federal system like India. How we view sovereignty. In India, the government is divided into two parts. Earlier I have mentioned that it is the peculiar thing that in India, the government is divided into two parts with a range of autonomous power attached to them. Autonomous power. That means, first, we are talking that the government is divided into two parts, that is central government and the state government. And again, we are saying they have autonomous power. That means state has also autonomous power, the central government has autonomous power. But they are very much correlated. Then comes, neither of the government can be described as sovereign. Whether the state government has some authority or the central government has the authority. But we cannot say they are sovereign. Why? Because there are two ultimate authorities also. One is Supreme Court and the other is Constitution of India. So who will follow them? The state government and the central government has to follow their order. Whose order? The Constitution. We have to follow the Constitution. So, though the central government has authority, independent authority, and the state government also possesses independent authority, still they are governed by the Constitution. Then who will make an interpretation of the Constitution? It is the Supreme Court of India, which can interpret the Constitution accordingly. But suppose there is a problem, then who will reinterpret? Suppose Supreme Court gives an order to abolish LGBT. You must have heard about, while you are studying about the gender, you must have heard about the concept called LGBT. Lesbianism, gay, bisexuality, and transgender. There was a movement and there is also a movement for equality that are demanding equal status to that of a normal citizen. So Supreme Court of India passed a judgment after due consideration that there is a need to modify our constitution so that we can give equal status to the various genders. Suppose that was not accepted by the government. Then how can the government modify it? The government has the authority to modify or revalue the judgment by taking help of two-thirds majority of the upper house and the lower house. That means the Supreme Court judgment can be scrapped by two-thirds majority of both houses of the Indian Parliament. Then no more Supreme Court is also authority. He is not also the superpower. Then who is the power? It is the people of India who are power. Sovereignty is attached to them because it is the people of India who have nominated or elected their representatives to Parliament and legislative assemblies. So ultimately the power lies with the people of India. So Indian democracy is very much unique in this sense. So sovereignty of Indian democracy, it treats the citizen as the super or supreme authority. So now let's move to some concepts like state and power. What do you mean by state? What do you mean by power? How state exercises power or anybody is exercising power? So let's understand the meaning of state. So when we are talking about state, we are definitely talking about a geographical boundary. So a nation or territory. Territory means geographical boundary. So we considered it as an organized political community under one government. That geographical boundary or territory has a particular political organization which we call as government. So state represents the political territory or a state of government. The state is a form of human association distinguished from other social groups by its purpose. Suppose there are other organizations, say there is a club, there are some other organization on the basis of religious ground, then we may term that because they have also political authority. We may term them as state. No, we can, because state has certain qualities, that is qualities, those are different from other organizations. What are those? Now the establishment of order and security. Only the state can take decision about the order and security of people, order and security of its boundary, order and security of its fellow beings, order and security of its rules, policies, everything. Its method, the laws and their enforcement. It is the supreme authority who can only enforce law by adopting certain methods. No other organization can do that. For example, in various times you must have heard about fatwas. Some religious leaders, they pass some orders on the ground of religion, that is called as fatwa, but that they are not the supreme authority. They are ordering, that means they are challenging the constitution. Who can only order or who can only give fatwa? It is the state, because it is the ultimate authority of law. It is the ultimate power to enforce that law. So it is state, it is a territory, it is the geographical jurisdiction. It is applicable, it is coercing, it is controlling the citizens who are residing in the geographical boundary of that particular state. So state is the ultimate political authority or the government. Then comes the state consists most broadly of the agreement of the individuals on the means whereby disputes are settled in the form of laws. State can formulate laws under the guidance of the constitution. Sometimes you have heard that government is asking for suggestion from the citizens regarding certain decisions. That means people are the only authority to come to a conclusion for a law to be implemented by the government. Government cannot solely make a law of its own choice. It has to consult certain law-making bodies. It has to consult the people. It has to think about the welfare of the people. So, state is very much sovereign. It is the ultimate authority. Then let's talk about the history of emergence of state. It is the ancient Greece where the state as a concept first arose. Plato and Aristotle wrote of the polis or city-state as an ideal form of association in which the whole community's religious, cultural, political, and economic needs could be satisfied. For Plato and Aristotle, the state is the organization or an ideal type of association which has the authority, which can take decision on the ground of religious, cultural, political, and economic needs of its citizens. So let's talk about the theories of state. What are the theories? First, deal with Karl Marx. As I have told you, sociology cannot go away from the classical thinkers or the founding fathers of sociology. We can't neglect them. There are various theories, yet we have to follow our basic structure. That is our base. That is our classical thinkers' views. So let's begin with our classical thinkers' definition or interpretation of state. First, it is Karl Marx. What is he saying? He is saying that in a capitalist system, state represents the force to exercise power and authority to promote the interest of dominant class. That means Karl Marx is equating state with a capitalist system where the power lies with the haves, those who have the means of production, those who has the relations of production with them, those who are commanding, those who are having all the resources, technology, knowledge, military, everything. So Karl Marx is saying in a capitalist society, state represents the authority of the dominant caste, indirect authority of dominant caste, or indirectly through state, the dominant caste, dominant class are controlling us. For him, state is man-made institution and not naturally built. He is arguing that state is not naturally built. It is built by the people and by the dominant class people. They try to authorize their policies for state. So they brought about the concept called state. So according to Marx, state was originated at a certain stage of economic development when society was developed into two classes, haves and haves not. And the state preserves the authority of the haves. So there are basically three models. While we talk about the evolution of state according to Marxian ideology, those are economic power is quite simply translated into political power in a simple manner, without any hesitation. It is the liberal view. That means earlier it were the bourgeois who were controlling the society. But in the new form, state, bourgeoisie is renamed as state. They translate the economic power into political power. That means economy is transferred to politics. or political power. This is called as the liberal view. Then comes another view that argues that with the progress of time, different sections of bourgeoisie engaged in political struggle through and over the state. That means he is saying that within the bourgeoisie, there are also class sections. There are agricultural bourgeois, there are industrial bourgeois, and they collide with each other. And state is that form which supports the dominant one. That means that bourgeois, which is very much dominant, state represents that bourgeois. So it is representing the interest of the dominant bourgeois. That is another model. Then comes the third model. In the third model, he is arguing due to changes in economic base of society, state becomes supernatural. That means because economic condition is changing, sometimes bourgeois are fighting, sometimes middle class are gaining profit, sometimes proletariat are going for a strong revolution. So what happens? Now the authority, ultimate authority lies with the state. That is supernatural. It is becoming supernatural. However, to survive of the capitalist system, there is a need for new members who would have good quality of education, good quality of technological sense, all those things. So whose duty is this? The state's duty to give its citizen good quality of knowledge, good quality of technology, so that the capitalist society that is representing can survive. So you have seen that throughout districts, throughout states, throughout country, everywhere you will find a professional institution. You will see engineering college, you will see B.Ed college. Why such colleges on the basis of professional qualities? Because capitalist society needs professionals. And who will produce those professionals? These colleges and the educational institutions. And who is giving permission for this? Not the state, under higher education ministry, MHRD, or state education ministry or something like that. So indirectly, the government or the state is representing the capitalist society. It is making people in such a way that the capitalist system should not perish. It is giving education, technological expertise to its citizens so that the capitalist system can survive. So Marx is saying state is the outcome of a capitalist society that makes the society bifurcated. One class represents everything, the other class has nothing except its surface. Then comes Max Weber. He is saying that a state is a human community or a special kind of institution that claims the monopoly of legitimate use of physical force within a given territory. That means he is saying that it is a human community. That means state comprises of human beings. They are the citizens. They have given monopoly to the state to make physical force so that the state can control us. So, which citizen? Within the periphery of the state, not outside. So, it is a territorial concern. Then he is saying a state has the ability to ensure obedience of its citizens. That means it should confirm that the citizens are abiding the rules and regulations of the state. Then comes state has the following features. He argued that it has a legal and administrative order which is subject to change by legislation only. I and you cannot change any policy. The authority or the state or the government can only make decision, can make certain changes, modification to a particular law. Then comes administration work is accordance with legislation. What he is talking about? Bureaucracy. He is arguing that everywhere in the system, rationalistic system, there is a hierarchical system where skill education matters a lot. And those who have possesses that one, they are placed in the supreme authority, and those who are below them, they have to follow them. So it is guaranteed by the legislation. Same thing happens in the parliament also. Parliament's upper house is called as Rajya Sabha. When a law is passed in parliament, Lok Sabha, it needs the nod of Rajya Sabha. Then it will forwarded to the president to be implied as a law or policy or something like that. So he is arguing administration works in accordance with legislation. It has a particular formula. It has a particular state. The state has binding authority on all its members and over the acts of carried out in territory. That means whatever is happening, whatever is taking place in that territory, that should be maintained by the supreme authority, that is state. Then comes Imai Durkheim. He is arguing that it is a political representation. He stressed that development of state is related to division of labor. He is arguing that because the society is transforming from simple to complex, there occurs organic solidarity, where there occurs interdependence. People are no more sufficient or self-sufficient. Rather, they are depending upon others. So, they are depending, so there is a need to maintain solidarity. And that function is carried out by a political entity called the state. So, state mediate between different interests in particular individuals and the groups. That means it makes a decision between people and other groups. It tries to maintain solidarity or peacefulness or willingness among the people. So the notion of society is similar to the notion of state. Durkheim argued society is sui generis. That means society is developed automatically. It is created automatically. Society is man and its parts are other things. Parts are acting according to the society. So he is equating society's role to that of a state role. So he is saying state will formulate rules and regulations to maintain solidarity. What type of solidarity? Organic solidarity. Then comes power relation. What is power? We have already learned about this. However, let's recall them a little bit. What is that? What is power according to Marx? Power means coercion, means forcefulness. Someone is forcing you. Someone is controlling you. So it is means coercion. It is held by a few. Those who are known as bourgeois or heads. They are controlling the modes of production, means of production, relations of production, everything. Hence, they are controlling the society. They have the power. So institutions like education, state, mass media justified that power of the supreme authority. That is the capitalist mindset, that is the capitalists or the entrepreneurs or the bourgeois. So what we are reading, what we are obeying, all are representing the interest of the heads. Then comes Talcott Parsons. According to him, power is possessed by the society as a whole. He is talking about system. He is saying how society is maintained, how society is working. He is saying that power is equally possessed by all, not by a single person. But Marx arguing, a few are controlling power. But Talcott Parsons is saying power is equally distributed. It is the capacity to mobilize the resource of the society for the attainment of goals for which a general public commitment has been made. Why power is there? Because it tries to fulfill the goals of its citizen, because it tries to fulfill the needs. So the system equates power with everyone so that everyone can easily fulfill their goals. So according to him, amount of power in a society is measured by the degree to which collective goals are realized. So what is that? Why everyone is saying that irrespective of varieties, still the unique character of India is unity in diversity? Because though we have difference in religion, though we have difference in education, though we have differences in dressing sense, eating sense, fooding sense, or anything, language also, still we are claiming that it is the constitution which is guiding us, and through constitution and the rules, we are guaranteed that state will fulfill our goals. So everyone is saying the ultimate democratic country in the globe is India. So Talcott person is saying, why people are saying India is powerful? Because that India has the power to fulfill the goals of its citizens. So goals are shared by all members, power will be further strengthened. If I have a particular goal, if I am unable to fulfill that one, I can share it with others who can give me help. Also, I can help them to fulfill their goals. So interdependence should be there. We should cooperate with each other because the system guarantees or equally distributed power to all. This is Talcott Parsons' view. Then comes Max Weber's view on power. He is saying the ability of an individual or a group to achieve their own goals. That means how I can fulfill my goals. That describes my power. If I am very easily fulfilling my goals, that means I have the power. I can control anyone. So Weber identified power as being either authoritative or coercive. How I am fulfilling my goals? Either I am your authority, so I am utilizing you, and you are obeying me, and I am fulfill my goal by you with the help of help from you. And if you are not obeying, then I am exercising power over you. So authoritative and coercion are necessary for establishing the concept called power. So Weber's concept of class, status, and party are the center of his concept of power. So let's understand about class, status, and party. So class, when we talk about class, we are basically talking about the economic sphere. So class exists in the economic order. It is an expression of economic order determined by person's market situation. Who is powerful? Mukesh Ambani is powerful because his position in the market is strong. He is the richest person in India. It denotes the aggregate of individual who share some class situation. That means he is saying that according to the class structure, there will be some in the top, some will be in the middle, some will be in the latter part or lower part. So he is distinguishing two types of classes, privileged class and commercial class. And another type of class he is also talking about, that is middle class. However, it is not mentioned properly anywhere that he is talking about middle class. But he is talking about two types of classes, that is privileged class, that means those who own the property, and who are the commercial class, those who are engaged in the transaction process, the laborers, who have nothing except their labor power, their skills, their ability to produce anything. So there are two types of classes, privileged class, commercial class. So for Weber, power is associated with property. That means economic order. Then comes the status. Here power or status is attached to the social order. A status situation is very typical component of the life fate of man that is determined by specific positive or negative social estimation of honor. That means he is equating status to that concept called honor. You have a certain position. Someone will say you are a good fellow. Someone will say you are antisocial. Someone will say you are an entrepreneur. Someone will say you are a farmer. Someone will say you are a laborer. So these concepts are associated with the honor, which represents as your status. So a status situation is part of person's life chances. How people are accepting me and how I am expressing myself. Then comes a status group. What is a status group? Equal status people coming together to form a certain group that is called a status group. For example, rich group, rich people, poor people, middle class people. So, social esteem, specific lifestyle, restrictions, etc. are the defining criteria for status, the concept called status. That means how I am availing, representing myself to the society. How society is perceiving me. If I am dressing good, if I am having so many costly vehicles, if I have 2-3 apartments, I have 2-3 bungalows, if my way of living is higher in comparison to other people in my society, then definitely the society will tell or identify me as the highest status group people. So this is status, which is very much related to the social order. So power here relies upon social order or status. Then comes the party, which is related to the political background or power. So he is arguing that in the political sense, power is attached to party. It refers to a voluntary association which has the aim of securing direct control of an organization in order to implement certain definite policies within an organization. What is a party then? He is arguing that within a larger organization, there are various groups, and those groups tries to control the total organization. For example, if we are saying that in India, society is a demographic multi-party system, that means there are existence of various parties, and each party has certain rules, regulations, and motives, goals. So they try to execute their goal in a planned manner. For example, when there is an election, each and every party tries to take power under them by winning more and more seats. So they have a planned policy. Sometimes talking about the current legislative election, it is Prashant Bhushan, who is termed as the policymaker. He was utilized by Trinamool Congress. Why? Trinamool Congress tries to capture power, uphold power. So the party has a certain plan to execute so that people will vote for that party. So each and every party has certain plan. Then comes the whole goal of party is to gain power, that I have already told you. Then comes the concept called citizenship. What is citizenship? Citizenship, the idea of citizenship refers full and equal membership of a political community. Usually it is termed as democracy. Under democracy, each and everyone has equal rights, equal membership, irrespective of his religion, caste, creed, class. Everyone is guaranteed equality before law. This is called as citizenship. All citizens are made equal and have the same right. they play important role in the governing process in a demographic country. Whether I am a Hindu, you are a Muslim, you are a Christian, what we are participating in the electoral process to choose or elect our governing body. So we are all citizens before law. So how we can define citizenship? Under Roman jurisprudence, citizenship refers to free to act by law. That means everyone is free before law to act of their own, free to ask and expect the law of protection. That means before the law, everyone has the authority to ask their authority about various laws, various problems, and if they are not working properly. So political and legal theory, it is defined as the right and duties of the member of a nation state or city.